Hare Krishna. Welcome to ISKCON Naperville's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today is the 9th of September, Tuesday, and we are continuing with the theme of glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam during this month of Bhadra. So, different devotees have spoken about um, how Bhagavatam has touched their lives, glories of Bhagavatam, and so on and so forth. And so today, my inspiration for uh, this morning talk is going to be Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.3, the Nigama Kalpataror verse. So that is inspiration for my talk. I wanted to start with a caveat that this topic is way beyond my pay grade. But I was inspired nevertheless. So I don't have an adhikar for it, but I'm inspired nevertheless to speak about it. So I will share my screen. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.3, Canto 1, Chapter 1, text number 3. Nigamakalpatarorgalitam phalam Shukhamukhadamritadravasam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha Nigamakalpatarorgalitam phalam Shukhamukhadamritadravasam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. One final time. Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam Shukhamukhadamritadrava Samyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. Nigama, the Vedic literatures, Kalpataro, the desire tree, Galitam, fully matured, Phalam, fruit, Shuka, Srila Shukadev Goswami, the original speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, Mukhat, from the lips of Amrita, nectar, Drava, semi-solid, and soft, and therefore easily pibata, do relish it. Bhagavatam, the book dealing the science of eternal relation with the Lord. Rasam, juice, that which is relishable. Alayam, until liberation or even in a liberated condition. Muhu, always. Aho, oh. Rasikaha, those who are full in the knowledge of mellows. Bhuvi, on the earth. Bhavukaha, expert and thoughtful. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O expert and thoughtful men, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desired tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Shukadev Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. In the two previous shlokas, it has already been proved that Srimad Bhagavatam is a sublime literature which surpasses all other Vedic scriptures due to its transcendental qualities. It is transcendental to all mundane activities and mundane knowledge. In the shloka, it is stated that Srimad Bhagavatam is not only a superior literature, but is the ripened fruit of all Vedic literatures. In other words, it is the cream of all Vedic knowledge. Considering all this, patient and submissive hearing is definitely essential. With great respect and attention, one should receive the message and lessons imparted by Srimad Bhagavatam. The Vedas are compared to desire tree because they contain all things knowable by man. The Vedas contain regulative principles of knowing covering social, political, religious, economic, military, medicinal, chemical, physical, metaphysical subject matter, and all that may be necessary to keep the body and the soul together. Above and beyond all these are specific directions for spiritual realization. Regulative knowledge involves a gradual raising of living entity to spiritual platform. And the highest spiritual realization is knowledge that the personality of Godhead is the reservoir of all spiritual tastes or rasas. This is a slightly longer purport. Every living entity, beginning from Brahma, the firstborn living being within the material world, down to the insignificant ant, desires to relish some sort of taste derived from sense perception. These sensual pleasures are technically called rasa. Such rasas are of different varieties. In the revealed scriptures, the following 12 rasas are enumerated: Raudra, anger; Adbhuta, wonder; Shrangara, conjugal love; Hasya, comedy; Veera, chivalry; Daya, mercy; Dasya, servitorship; Sakhya, fraternity; Bhayanaka, horror; Bibhatsa, shock; Shanta, neutrality; Vatsalya, and parenthood. The sum total of all these rasas is called affection or love. Primarily, such signs of love are manifested in adoration, service, friendship, parental affection, and conjugal love. And when these five are absent, love is present indirectly in anger, so on. For example, when a man is in love with a woman, the rasa is conjugal. But when such love affairs are disturbed, there may be wonder, anger, shock, or even horror. Sometimes love affairs between two persons culminate in ghastly murder scenes. Such rasas are displayed between man and between animal and animal. There is no possibility of an exchange of rasa between a man and an animal or between a man and any other species of living being within the material world. The rasas are exchanged between members of the same species. But as far as the spirit souls are concerned, they are one qualitatively with the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the rasas were originally exchanged between the spiritual living being and the spiritual whole, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The spiritual exchange or rasa is fully exhibited in spiritual existence between living beings and the Supreme Lord. I'm going to pause here because I think we have about 20 minutes to the hour. And if I have time, I'll come back to this purport. I think, like I said, this verse is beyond my pay grade. And the topic I'm going to speak about is also way beyond my adhikar. But the inspiration has been that in the last couple of years since we moved to Naperville, um, the topics that we've been hearing about. For instance, recently we heard the appearance of Sri Krishna, and we've we were systematically taken through different verses, Acharya's commentaries, and we went into deeper depths. I'm saying we, not because I was able to go, but because the speaker of that particular series, Shri Rompa Swami, he took us in there. And many months ago, if I remember correctly, there was a statement that was made that the exchange between devotees, the exchange between Krishna and his devotees, that is rasa. When we continue to hear systematically, repeatedly, that rasa ultimately is what is going to give us taste for devotional service, taste for hearing and chanting. And so that was my meditation. And this verse talks about this word rasa. So, and when I did a little bit of a research in Padma Purana, there are some verses that talks about this rasa again. So, if we break down this verse, Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam. So, taru, like we hear, is the tree. Kalpataru is a desire tree, meaning when you approach the Vedas with any sort of desires, your desires are fulfilled. So that is Kalpataru. Nigama Kalpataru is the Vedic wish fulfilling tree, right? And we understand that, the roots take in the water and the water flows through the tree. There is sap that flows through the tree. So there is a little bit of an exchange of rasa even happening in the tree itself. But that rasa cannot be tasted by us. When that rasa is sort of distilled into the fruit, then that fruit can be taken up and can be tasted by us. Um, So, in the Bhagavata Mahatmyam section from Padma Purana, there are 3 verses that talks about this. So, I hope I can say this in the correct meter. Amulagrarasa, amulagrarasastishtan, aste na khadate yata, sambhuya saprithak bhutaha, phale vishwa manoharaha. So, this vital fluid of the tree is spread from the root to the tip, though it cannot be tasted. When that same fluid accumulates in the fruit, however, it tastes very delicious and it attracts everyone's mind. So, we are talking about the same rasa that is being spoken of in the Srimad Bhagavatam. What does Padma Purana further say? It says, Yatha dugdhe sthita sarpir न खादायोपकल्पते पृथग्भूतं हि तद्दिव्यं देवानां रसवर्धनम्. Similarly, ghee, which is relishable even to the devatas, is spread throughout the cow's milk, but it cannot be savored until it is extracted. In the same way, Bhagavatam is the churned extract of the spiritual knowledge which is spread throughout the Vedas in an esoteric form. Finally, Padma Purana gives another beautiful analogy. इक्षुणामपि मध्यान्तं शर्करा व्याप्य तिष्ठति पृथग्भूतं च सामिष्ठा तथा भागवती कथा. Sugar also exists throughout sugarcane, yet when extracted, it becomes more succulent. In the same way, Bhagavatam is extracted concentrate of the Vedas, which are comparable to sugarcane. So beautiful, right? Like there is sugarcane, there is ghee, there is this fruit. So, in a sense, that Vedas holds the ultimate truth, the absolute truth, but it is spread all over. It cannot be extracted by us. Um, the people of Kali Yuga with the Sumanda Matayor. It cannot be extracted by us. But Srila Vyasadeva, what has he done? He has extracted all of this and he's put it all, it's all in concentrated form in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And what does this verse say? It is not just concentrated. So if you look at the verse, line number 1 starts by saying Galitam Phalam. It's the ripened fruit. But in the second line, it says Amrita Drava. It's not only ripened fruit, now it's almost like a pulp. I'll read the translation. It says semi-solid, soft, and therefore easily swallowable. You go to the next line in that verse, it says Pibata Bhagavatam Rasam. Now it is not just the semi-solid pulpy thing, but it is a juice. So when Hari Parshad Prabhu came to Naperville, I think it was in Sri Radhika Mataji's house, he was talking about the same rasa. He talked about this verse, not the verse, he talked about the word and he said juice. And he said, take anybody, their mood might be, they might be upset, but give them a nice cool drink of juice, immediately it soothes them. And then he says, you keep giving them the same kind of juice, it's not going to satisfy them. You need to have variety. So rasa is not just one kind, but it's this variety. And so Krishna, as Srila Prabhupada says in this purport, Raso Vaisaha. So in Taittiriya Upanishad is this famous verse, Raso Vaisaha, Rasam hi evayam labdva anandi bhavati. meaning Saha, he, that supreme, is indeed. Why meaning indeed? It is emphatic, it is emphasized. He is rasa. And labdva, meaning when you attain that labdva, anandi bhavati, the living entity truly become joyous. So again, Hariparshad Prabhu was saying that rasyate asvadyate iti rasa. That which is tasted is rasa. Juice is rasa. After tasting, you feel. So again, this is Hariparshad Prabhu. I think he gave a seminar in, I don't know where the seminar was, but Sachinandan Maharaj was there. So in that seminar, he says that so juice is rasa, but after you taste the juice, you feel happiness. That happiness is also called rasa. So, Prabhu talks about a Ramayana example, and I wanted to share a little bit about my own experience. So, when my children were little, we used to listen to a lot of audio books, audio renderings of Ramayana by Amala Bhakta Swami, Amala Bhakta Das. It says in the recording. That recording, in Ramayana, you'll hear, uh, how how heartbroken Dasharath Maharaj is, how Ramachandra was banished, how when Bharata came, there was this burden that he was carrying. People, he realized his respected father Dasharatha had passed, his beloved brother had gone to the forest. On top of that, there were people who were saying who that because of you Rama was exiled and things like that. So at every step of Ramayana, you could constantly feel this heaviness. Again, I am not an expert, but just by hearing that Amala Bhakta Maharaj's uh, recitation audio book, we could feel our hearts move. And so Haripashad Prabhu says in that lecture, he says, Rasa has this, but did we stop hearing even though that Ramayana was sad? We would, my children and I were moved to the point that we would not want to hear this Ramayana audio book during driving because it was totally disruptive. It was sad, it was moving, it was Karuna Rasa. But Haripashad Prabhu says Rasa has this capability to convert sadness into a supreme joyous event. It is this release of emotion, he calls it catharsis, that you want to go hear it again and again, even though it is sad, right? So it is this, they who is experiencing rasa, Bharata is experiencing rasa, between Ramachandra and Dasharath Maharaj, between Kaushalya and Ramachandra. I know there is all these exchanges that are happening. It is happening between them in the transcendental realm. And yet I, who am here and who have zero adhikar, I get a little bit of glimpse of that. It moves me, right? So that transformation somehow magically happens. That um, you and I and all of us can experience that. And there is this wow that happens. There is this wanting to hear again and again that happens. There is this disconnect from immediate reality that happens when you're experiencing it. We become completely invested in that subject matter. So all of this again Haripashad Prabhu says, but we can, at some point in time we might have experienced that, right? So this, why am I saying that? Because Bhagavatam is presenting that. So again in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. So there he says, Arjuna, I'm going to present to you this Raja Vidya, the king of all knowledge, Raja Guhyam. It is absolutely confidential. So in that, if I can pull that verse, Prabhupada writes in that verse, it is the most confidential knowledge because confidential or transcendental knowledge involves understanding between the difference between soul and the body. So that is level one. Confidential knowledge is I am not the body, I'm a spirit soul, right? More confidential is this who is the supreme. Most confidential is bhakti. Like, for example, in that Bhagavad Gita, he says, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, he says, I carry what you lack, I preserve what you have. It is Krishna's heart that is most confidential knowledge. That most confidential knowledge is presented in Srimad Bhagavatam. Um, an example I wanted to give is in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.43.17, Krishna kills the elephant Kuvalayapida and he's entering the arena. And the translation of that verse is the various groups of people in the arena regarded Krishna in different ways when he entered it with his elder brother. The wrestlers saw Krishna as a lightning bolt, the men of Mathura as the best of males, the women as Cupid in person, the cowherd men as their relative, the impious rulers as their chastiser, his parents as their child, the king of Bhoja as death, and the unintelligent as Supreme Lord's universal form, and the yogis as the absolute truth, and Vrishnis as their supreme worshipable deity. So, that same Supreme Lord, who is the reservoir of all pleasure, which means he holds in him these varieties of rasa, different people according to their position, they regard him that way. So, in that purport, Srila Prabhupada writes this, he quotes Sridhar Swami and he says the same verse. So, again, another example is this rasa you can see it in different places. Like for example, in Dhruva Maharaj's pastime, Dhruva Maharaj, when he saw the Supreme Lord, of course his heart was filled with desires. Then he saw the Supreme Lord. Now he remains speechless. So in that translation is this is 4.9.4. Although Dhruva Maharaj was a small boy, he wanted to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in suitable language. But because he was inexperienced, he could not adjust himself immediately. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, being situated in everyone's heart, could understand Dhruva Maharaja's awkward position. Out of his causeless mercy, he touched his conch shell to the forehead of Dhruva Maharaj, who stood before him with folded hands. I quoted this verse mainly because, when I heard Hari Parshad Prabhu was saying rasa has these three things. One, you're disconnected from the current. Two, you're completely invested in that. Three, there is this wow factor, this chamatkar rasa, he calls it. So, for me, this imagery I had, here is Dhruva Maharaj. He was so into wanting a kingdom bigger than his great grandfather's kingdom. Now the Lord has come, and here he's fully invested, and there is this stunned. There is this chamatkar that is there, and the Lord has now touched him with his conch shell, and then he is going to speak. There are so many other examples. Um, the other example would be Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, where remembrance of Krishna is happening. Uddhava and Vidura are speaking. So, few verses, starting text 4. For a moment, he remained dead silent. This is Uddhava, and his body did not move. He became absorbed in the nectar of remembering the Lord's lotus feet, in devotional ecstasy, and he appeared to be going increasingly deeper into that ecstasy. It was so observed by Vidura that Uddhava had all transcendental bodily changes due to total ecstasy, and he was trying to wipe away tears of separation from his eyes. Thus, Vidura could understand that Uddhava had completely assimilated extensive love for the Lord. The great devotee Uddhava soon came back from the abode of the Lord to the human plane, and wiping his eyes, he awakened his reminiscence of the past and spoke to Vidura in a pleasing mood. So we can see this rasa being exchanged, like, the remembrance. This is my understanding. exchange between Vidura and Uddhava, or between Dhruva Maharaj and Lord Vishnu, or between Krishna and the various kinds of people assembled, including Kamsa, in the wrestling arena. Right? So all of those exchanges are happening. Um, so finally, I have a few 4 minutes to the hour. I wanted to end with this 2.3.24. Um, Tadashmasaram hridayam batedam yadgrihyamaणैर्हरिनामधेयै न विक्रियेत यदा विकारो नेत्रे जलं गात्ररुहेषु हर्षः. So, certainly, that heart is steel framed, which, in spite of one's chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration, does not change when ecstasy takes place. Tears fill the eyes and hair stand on end. So, I brought this because I was thinking my heart is like this, covered in ignorance, and it is not moved. But our my way out of this situation is by repeated hearing. And, it is this, as we continue to hear, these drops of nectar will slowly soften our own hearts. And, we'll be moved. We'll be moved someday. So I think I'll pause here. If there are any thoughts or corrections, please do share them with me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for, wonderfully extracting the juice. So I was very much liking the point when you shared about Hariparshad Prabhu's. I also attended the class. Thank you for bringing that point again. As he has mentioned and you have repeated the message, it's not just one rasa, right? All the rasas, it's varieties of juice we all need to really feel the taste. And I was also constantly hearing this kind of repeated, not similar, but the same message, but similar message. That, just if we say water, water, looking at the water bottle, it's not going to help us. We have to just pick the bottle, pour into your mouth, then only your thirst is quenched. Like the same way, Srimad Bhagavatam is such a scripture that everyone has to really relish and taste it. Then at the end, as you mentioned, they can really relish it only after tasting. So thank you for bringing that point. And repeating, and I was liking the way you took it and ended, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, I was intimidated because this is, like I told many times, this is beyond me, but I'm repeating the words of our teachers.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. It
Hare
was so
Krishna.
sweet. If you say you have zero adhikar, I am qualified in the negative to speak about it, to appreciate your class. But it was very heart touching, very moving. Really, I thought of the Kathakali presentations. Really the sweet music and the abhinaya, and really people are so moved. Sometimes the audience run up the stage or catch hold of somebody. Things like it's really amazing, the true depth of what we are hearing. And thank you for bringing up so many wonderful verses, and the way you sang, it was very moving. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Incidentally, Hariparshad Prabhu talks about that also in the class. He talks about how, not movies, he says not, but live, natya, live, like you said, abhinaya, the live drama, that moves because there are, yeah.
Even common people can, they get carried away.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's a very good presentation, yours.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, I also forgot to mention about Amala. What's the Maharaj name you just
Amala
mentioned?
Bhakta Maharaj.
Amala Bhakta Maharaj. I remember when you were sharing my memories, like, you brought back my memories when my boys used to be young. We were also having the same DVD while
Ah,
driving. It's like so serene.
yeah,
We'll be hearing then he says that time he was Amala Bhakta Das, right? He said
right.
that Amala Bhakta Das. We used
Yeah,
to hear the way, with the background music, and the whole ride will be so quiet, we'll be too absorbed with the
yeah.
voice modulations and stuff. Yes, as you said, these scriptures, since I'm also the part of that Ramayana team,
Mhm.
when I just sit next to my teacher, he's just, narrating the story. We have been doing the same three topics again and again, but still every time it's very, very refreshing. It looks so fresh. It's the same pastime. We know the story. Everybody knows Ramayana, but every time you hear it, it's like a nectar. Another devotee was sharing the same thing. I first heard the best kept secret in Schaumburg the very first time.
Mm.
And this is the third time I'm hearing, but
Mm.
still it's refreshing. So I was okay. I
Mm.
have a company now. Maybe I was the one feeling that because it's the scriptures and the potency of the speaker, right? If they were
Mm.
able to converse and explain the same way, we are able to feel the nectar.
Right.
So yes, it has different rasas and it touches. Since you shared your boys, being young, it was too touching for them, right?
Yeah.
It's touching for everyone. It's
For
all the
me too.
yeah,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding about Amala Bhakta Maharaj. It really, I just, it brought back all my old memories. Thank you.
Actually, you made an important point which I didn't touch, was this Shukha Mukha Amrita, because Prabhupada says the fruit was pecked by
Correct.
Shukadev Goswami and
Mhm.
therefore it became sweeter. So yes, an important point is the speaker. Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mathaji. I didn't had a meeting, so I was able to hear. Thank you so much. Such a nice class. So I think the way you explained the three lines of that verse, even the fruit, phala,
Drava.
drava, and then rasa. I, I remember the class, but it's vaguely remember. I know it was nice class by Hariparshad Prabhu, but yeah, you reminded. Thank you so much, Mataji. But I think at the end you read that verse. Still remember. It was like I was just thinking about myself. So thank you. I mean, yeah, the Bhagavatam is so nice. I mean, because the rasas are different, right? I mean, how we
Yeah.
feel. I mean, I think the example that you gave is Ramayana, right? I mean, we are
Mm.
not there in that incident or event, or we are not even. We are just hearing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the something which has happened thousands of years ago, but we are experiencing that. I mean, to some extent, right? When we
Yeah.
hear.
Actually, Bhanu Swami says, for this verse, he was saying that it started off with phalam, but phalam
Mm.
you have to like peel, remove the seed, and there is work involved. But juice, that is why it is Pibata Bhagavatam. It is already given to you in a juice form. So all you have to do is drink it up. Like Jyotirmaya Mataji said, that's our activity. The work has been done for us.
Thank
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Every everybody has covered. It's such a beautiful, beautiful class. And at the end, I was thinking when you read the heart that is steel framed. Um, I feel like that's where I fall. Where nothing. It's going to take a lot to, I guess, move my heart somehow. But you covered you covered so many things and so beautifully, and the whole rasa flowing through the tree and going into the fruit. I mean, it's really, it's something that you can visualize almost, and that's how the sweetness and the nectar is flowing to us from the Bhagavatam. If only I could relish it more.
Mm. So I think that's a good note, right, for us to, if only. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you all for coming. Like I said, I think we have tried to extract things from my teachers, but so all glories to them. So we'll pause here for today. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा।